Donald Trump was just hit with some truly devastating news that spells doom in his federal classified documents case. I cannot overstate how horrible this next story is for Donald Trump. A bombshell in every sense of the word. A legal analyst that we'll get to in a little bit called this potentially game over for Trump in this case. So we're talking about the federal classified documents case. And ABC News is reporting on information that Jack Smith has obtained that makes this even more of an open and a shut case for the prosecutors. Here's this from ABC News. One of four President Donald Trump's current attorneys told special counsel Jack Smith's team that within days of the Justice Department issuing a subpoena last year for all classified documents at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, she very clearly warned Trump that if he failed to fully comply, but then swore he did, quote unquote, it's going to be a crime, according to sources familiar with the matter. Sources said the lawyer, Jennifer Little, told investigators Trump absolutely understood the warning, which came during a pivotal meeting at Mar-a-Lago with Trump and another attorney, Evan Corcoran, who had recently joined Trump's legal team. So when Jack Smith's team goes into court to prove that Trump knowingly held on to documents after he had been subpoenaed for them, knowingly lied to authorities, obstructed the investigation, among the other evidence that they have, they'll be able to point to this. With this testimony, one of Trump's current lawyers representing him in a different case. No incentive to lie, obviously, to damage Trump. It's going to be really difficult for Trump to argue against the facts of Smith's case. And here is a CNN legal analyst breaking down how this is a bullseye for prosecutors.
CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig. Inside that ABC News report on Jennifer Little, the Trump attorney, there are some doozy words, I will call them. They teach that at law school. Jennifer Little told investigators she very clearly, in quotation marks, told Donald Trump that if he failed to comply but said he did it with turning over documents, in quotes, it's going to be a crime. Right. And she said, in quotes, he absolutely understood.
This is a bullseye for prosecutors. It's right down the middle of what they have to prove for obstruction of justice. And let's remember, this is the Mar-a-Lago federal classified documents case. Part of the indictment relates to the mishandling of classified documents, but part of it relates to obstruction of justice. If you're a prosecutor and you have to prove obstruction, you have to show that the defendant, in this case Donald Trump, knew he had a subpoena, knew he had to comply, and intentionally did not do so. And this witness, Trump's former, and by the way, current lawyer, has told the grand jury that she said straight up, no ambiguity, you have to comply. If you don't, it's a crime. And he said, I got it, I understand. If the jury accepts that, game over, he's guilty.
Yeah, I call them doozy words. You call them legally relevant. Does that mean that she is likely to testify in the Mar-a-Lago documents case?
If I'm a prosecutor, she's 100% on my witness list. Now, people may be wondering, well, hold on, she's the attorney. Isn't there this thing called attorney-client privilege? The answer is yes. But prosecutors were able to show, at least at the grand jury level, that they were entitled to break through that attorney-client privilege because they showed something called the crime-fraud exception, meaning if the communication between the attorney and the client goes to some crime, some ongoing crime, then you can use the evidence. So Trump's going to still get to contest that. But to me, it seems clear that this is going to come in, and Jennifer Little will be a witness at this trial for the prosecution.
Game over, he says. It's as serious as it gets. I can imagine Trump felt his stomach drop when he heard this news. How do you explain away that testimony? Well, my own lawyer, currently representing me in a different case, she's lying for some reason to damage me. She's a part of the conspiracy. Or, yes, I knew I was obstructing. I knew I wasn't supposed to have the documents, and my lawyer did tell me that and said it would be illegal if I did the thing that I went on to do. And I told her that I understood. But my name is Trump is probably what he wants to say. So this doesn't apply to me. And this comes as Trump is also getting bad news in his business fraud case. He's been re-gagged, for lack of a better term. Here's this from NBC News. A state appeals court in New York reinstated a gag order against Donald Trump and his lawyers in the $250 million civil fraud case against the former president and his company, rejecting his argument that the order was unconstitutional. So Trump, seeing his defense in the classified documents case go up in flames, he's feeling extra gagged today. And meanwhile, his allies are flying off the rails. Here's MAGA Republican Congressman Clay Higgins, potentially panicked about the ABC News reporting for Donald Trump, which is increasing how deranged he's willing to be. So he says this, that Jack Smith's days are numbered. Take a look.
Conservative Republicans certainly stand against funding a DOJ and FBI that is clearly weaponized against American people. We're taking a hard look at rebuilding the whole thing. So let me say regarding Jack Smith and his request for another list of American citizens under some alleged legitimate investigative effort, I consider it a badge of honor to be on another one of Jack Smith's list. So I just say that his days are numbered, and American patriots are not going to stand idly by, good sir, and allow our republic to dissolve. We are prepared to fight legally and peacefully and within the parameters of the Constitution, with every ounce of our might and focus. The leftists will not take our country from us.
You could tell that he sort of startled himself by saying that. That's why he then goes, oh, I mean, in a peaceful way, we're going to make sure his days are, sorry, I dropped my pen, days are numbered in a peaceful way that abides by the law. He knows how his followers will perceive that statement, and it's incredibly dangerous. As we've seen before, we've seen where that type of language can lead. All because MAGA Republicans just can't accept the fact that, hey, maybe Trump just did some things that are against the law. Maybe every prosecutor, judge, grand jury, juror, witness, etc., isn't a part of a conspiracy to take Trump down. Maybe Trump's the one person in the wrong, but they just can't accept that. So instead, they buy into the nonsense of people like Clay Higgins. And you heard Clay Higgins at the beginning of that statement saying Republicans shouldn't be funding the quote-unquote weaponized DOJ and FBI. So I guess he's a part of the defund the FBI movement and DOJ, which is an example of how just because the dear leader, Trump, is now being held accountable by our justice system, so much of the Republican Party is willing to declare war on the rule of law. So just like they convinced 70% of Republicans that our election system doesn't work because Trump lost, they're now trying to convince those same Republicans that our justice system doesn't work because it's holding Trump accountable. And the lasting damage of those lies is going to be brutal. One of the many, many, many reasons we have to make sure that Biden's reelected in 2024. And on that note, aside from all of Trump's legal troubles, he's shooting himself in the foot when it comes to the 2024 election in another way, which is good news for us. All of a sudden, Trump started bringing up that he really wants to get rid of Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act and replace it with something different, much better. And you might remember that one of the things that crushed Republicans in the 2018 midterms was the fact that Trump was trying to do this. It became an issue in that election and did not help Republicans. So now he's going into the 2024 election bringing up the same thing. And it wasn't really an issue before he started bringing it up. Now it very much is, except this time it's even more absurd because years ago, Trump promised he would reveal his healthcare plan that would replace Obamacare, that would be much better in 2 weeks. Years passed by, never materialized. So now the promise of replacing Obamacare with something much better is even more laughable, coming from Trump. To be clear, we should replace our entire system with a universal single payer one, but that's not what Trump's proposing. And before showing you his most recent statement on this, you remember this from when Trump was president?
But you've been in office 3.5 years. You don't have a plan.
Well, we haven't had, excuse me, you heard me yesterday. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks, a full and complete health care plan.
And 2 weeks later, 2 years later, it never happened. And now he's saying this, getting much better health care than Obamacare for the American people will be a priority of the Trump administration. It's not a matter of cost, it's a matter of health, whatever that means. America will have one of the best healthcare plans anywhere in the world. Right now, it has one of the worst. Now, it's true that we have the worst in the industrialized world because, again, we refuse to do what all those other industrialized countries do, which is cover everybody. But I can't imagine Trump is now in favor of Medicare for all. That would be a real mix-up. So I guess, like his infrastructure plan, we'll just keep on waiting to see his non-existent healthcare plan. But because of him saying that, Biden-aligned groups are putting out ads like this one that aren't going to be good for Trump in 2024.
My name's Jody. I've been a pediatric nurse for 18 years. I love what I do, but we definitely need more support. The last administration's policies were so troubling, and our healthcare system has become a business, and people are becoming billionaires off the backs of sick people. I've seen the heartbreak when parents are trying to figure out how they're going to pay for a medicine to keep their kid healthy. But we are seeing lots of positive changes, and thanks to President Biden and Vice President Harris, families can afford medication now. The Biden administration lowered the cost of prescription drugs and passed laws to make healthcare more affordable. The idea that we could go back to the policies that help the rich get richer and left so many people behind, I don't want to go back. I can't go back.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So you put together abortion being on the ballot, democracy, gun safety, all these different issues, plus the issue of healthcare, the fact that Trump would kick millions of Americans off of their healthcare plan, which is what he would have done if he got in his way when he was president, trying to repeal Obamacare. I know the polls are worrying people, but don't underestimate what those issues are going to do when it actually comes time to vote. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is so beneficial to the work being done on the channel. Plus, become a member at lukebeasleyShow.com/membership. That gets you the daily bonus show Monday through Friday. And follow me on Threads at Luke Beasley Official, Instagram at Luke Beasley Official, X at Luke B. Beasley, and sign up for the Beasley Brief, a daily morning newsletter that summarizes the previous day's events by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/brief. And I'll talk to you all next time.